David Zaritsky from the Bond Experience.
Joe Darlington from Being James Bond.
And we are back.
We are.
I'm surprised you're back because our last discussion around Diamonds Are Forever, the fact that we have a theory, it's a new one, that the Bond actors, their last film were probably their worst. We're testing them out. We had to go back and watch all the films. We gave you Diamonds Are Forever. It was pretty harsh.
Yeah.
But we're back.
We are.
You're a glutton for punishment.
We are. We literally sat and watched all the worst Bonds in a row.
Well, we're gonna ask ourselves,
or did we?
Are they the worst?
Right.
Are the last ones the worst? I mean, did they, just shoot the actor, jettison them into space after that? And it's amazing. We did it perfectly sober, which was probably a mistake.
This is true, yeah.
I wonder if it would have been different.
Bloody Mary's next time. But
yeah, but we're here to talk about Roger Moore.
We are.
And more importantly, behind us, the backdrop is San Francisco. It's a view to a kill.
Yep.
So we had already talked about this. I get to go first.
I can't. I told Dave. I said you have to go first because this is the one that we talked a little bit off. As we were prepping.
Yes.
And you were just like, this is the one.
So I have a confession with this one. I was so moved, not in a good way, after watching this, that I called you and I said, dude, I don't know what to do here. Like this is a totally different film than what I remember. It was bad. I used to say things about Bond films. I said, Bond films are like sex and pizza. Even when they're bad, they're good. Funny. But I can't say that anymore because I've watched A View to a Kill again. I watched it by myself. Danielle refused to watch it. So smart. And, okay, so the pre-title sequence comes on and there are some moments. Ski suit looks cool. There's a little bit of action. The skidoo explodes. He gets on the snowboard, and then the Beach Boys start. And then I'm like, I remembered it, but I'm like, no.
Right. It's jarring. What's funny about that? Well, first of all, you're absolutely right. It starts off good.
Yeah.
This looming score, John Barry's score, is really good.
Oh my gosh.
And then all of a sudden, chop to just utter goofiness. You know what cracks me up about that particular moment? Again, when you look at it in retrospect, boy, is it still to this day as painful as it was when you first saw it. But if you tried to explain to a younger Bond fan today, like a preteen Bond fan who's just getting into James Bond, and that happens, and they asked you, I don't get it, why is that funny? Think of the steps you would have to go to explain the context of that silly, stupid joke. Well, snowboarding wasn't really a thing back then yet, so it looked kind of like surfing, and there was this band, the Beach Boys, who was associated with surfing, and even though they had a surfing song, they didn't use that because California Girls was also making a comeback because there was a guy named David Lee Roth who was doing... They'd be like, what?
You've lost me, and I will never watch a Bond film again.
Right.
Yeah, and then it didn't get better. So I'd love to jump into the score, but I'm not even there yet. So then you have Roger Moore, who I need to say this out loud. Rest in peace, Sir Roger Moore, the most amazing guy, off screen and on screen. I love him. I adore him. He was always my first James Bond. He always will be. He is amazing. This is not a smashing of Roger Moore, but my gosh, when he takes down the hood and he's there with that young girl, and it is a girl.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to shack up with you. Nowadays, I'm sorry, I got creeped out.
Yes.
I wasn't like, there's the old lover boy Bond. I'm no!
You're absolutely right. That is much more noticeable now as I get older. Just how ridiculously young this girl is compared to how old he was. Ooh, is that cringy?
She was in the film like my daughter Ashlyn's age, who's my daughter Ashlyn is 26, and I seriously, that's all I could see. Now I get it. I'm putting it through my own eyes and experience.
But you do, yeah.
But and then they showed this submarine, which was supposed to be an iceberg, which doesn't look anything like the other icebergs. And then it starts going really quickly, like they sped up the film for some right then and there. I'm like, I started to grip the couch, and I'm like, what have I done? and then hold on, the music starts. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun dun, and I'm like, I'm loving it.
Right.
The View to Kill song is amazing.
Totally.
Did you like that?
Oh, absolutely. And it's odd how much I still enjoy it to this day. When that comes on, I love it as much now as I did.
I play it in the car. Meeting
Love it.
You. I won't do it.
Yeah.
We'll lose followers. But
that's great.
It is an amazing song.
Yeah.
Now, I really studied this time the opening look, though. And boy, does this feel like they did it on the cheap. You know, the neon lipstick, and I know it's a sign of the times, but even the way they did the cuts and the look, they weren't really lined up, and it looked cheap, and it was the same girl used over and over again. Like, you see some of the things before, you know, with Octopussy and some of these other opening title sequences, and then you see the ones after. It's like, what happened here? Did they run out of money?
Yeah, I if I had to take a guess, I'd say, I mean, Morris Binder had been doing that for years at that point. It was getting to where I think he knew he could just phone it in at this point. So, yeah, it was not a lot of creativity or polish.
Yes. And then, okay, so I know I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like there's a bloody bat named Lucille and I'm just like whacking things away. But all of a sudden, then you see the characters, you see Roger Moore, you see M, you see Money Penny, and I'm sorry, it looked like, you know, a scene from Murder, She Wrote. Like, where's Angela Lansbury? And where's the smell of Ben Gay and Depends diapers in the air? And wait, no! And then suddenly I'm thinking of Daniel Craig, like, Daniel Craig was kicking ass in Quantum of Solace, and I'm like, okay, so this was Bond in A View to a Kill.
Yeah, I'm sure glad we decided not to hold back in these videos.
I'm so sorry, everyone. I apologize. I'm not trying to be mean, but I want to be honest about what I'm feeling, because here's the thing. I've got in my mind, even as a 51-year-old, I've got to set up in my mind that is the guy, James Bond, who's going to kick ass and save the day throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And I can't get there.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. This is going to surprise you a little bit.
No. I hope you liked it.
Well,
certain things.
I did like it. I do like it a lot more than I did.
Okay.
I mean, again, I'm not saying that this is in my top 10 or even my top 15 or anything, but I have kind of learned, this one's kind of got a soft spot for me.
Good. Why?
It's hard to really put my finger on it exactly, but, you know, we just got finished ripping Diamonds Are Forever.
Yes.
And that to me is a film that wanted to be lighthearted, wanted to be funny and over the top or whatever, and does it in a really goofy, hodgepodgey kind of a way.
Yes.
I feel like A View to a Kill also wants to be lighthearted and fun, and does it much better, where the story is still pretty intact.
Right.
The tone is good. I mean, Roger Moore is still fun in this, and I kind of feel like Roger's charm, not only does it shine through, but one of the things that I kind of laugh at is that when he does his St. John Smythe cover, and he's sort of being a rich playboy, I feel like that's just Roger Moore playing Roger Moore. It's that's almost true. Like I'm not even playing James Bond right now. I'm just going to play Roger Moore the way Roger Moore lives his life, and that's sort of what we get. So his charm gets to sort of shine a little bit.
Yes.
The locations are terrific. The score is fantastic. The villains are good.
Well, you're going through a checklist. We should hit a couple of these at a time, because so I'll surprise you back.
Go ahead.
What you're saying, a lot of the things I agree with. Like, for example, I had some trouble with the way the characters were treated. I had some trouble with the campier moments. However, I like the story a lot. So the story as a whole is Bond on a mission.
Yes.
Which, you know, I've got a huge heart for Bond on a mission. And when he was at the chateau, when he was St. John Smythe, I loved the whole thing. Now, I felt it felt a little, not the look of the chateau, obviously, but to me, this is where the Bond film looked a little 80s-ish. It looked a little inexpensive. Like, I always look at Bond films and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's luxury. Like, the film looks good. It feels good. This, to me, like, you know, when they had the fight, you know, when the guy gets wrapped in the box and things like that, and things are sped up, I'm like, it looks like an 80s TV show or something like that of James Bond.
Yeah.
But, you know, even the interaction of James Bond and, you know, his chauffeur, you know, the guy that was undercover, I actually do like those moments.
Yeah, I do too, right. Again, the interaction is good, but you're right. Moments like that really again, Moore is really up there age-wise. And again, they make the mistake that they didn't make in Octopussy. In Octopussy, I thought that they played to his age with a sense of experience and a little panache.
Yes.
Here, the fight scenes are just clunky because he's just too old to be fighting. The Bond girl, I won't jump ahead, but
Right.
that he is really awkward, that age difference. So yeah, you're right. The 80s-ish laziness in moments shines through, right? And they're kind of relying on the beautiful locations to sort of cover the tracks a little bit. I agree with you there. I mean, it is clunky in very many ways.
Even when they get to San Francisco from a plot point, I get it. And I think it works that he's there, but the way they treated the fire engine scene and some of those other aspects just feels like it's this kind of travelogue-ish, James Bondish TV show that it's trying to be James Bond, but it's not quite there for me.
Yeah. Right, with the Keystone Cops and all that stuff too. Yeah, again, going for the slapsticky laughs as opposed to maybe the more natural, kind of laughs that... Yeah, I agree with you there. It is a little wonky in that respect, for sure.
But I will say this. So some of a couple more positive aspects. Mayday.
Yeah.
And obviously Zoran. I think the bad guys in this movie, even Zoran's mentor / father / creepy old guy, scientist, I thought they were all really good, interesting characters. Mayday, I think it works.
Yeah.
I know, she's not quote unquote a professional actress. She's more model.
Yeah.
She's a little wacky in real life, obviously.
She was almost like the Mr. T of the Bond films. Like more of a
character.
A character that,
Yeah, but she was kind of, I liked her, and she was sensual to Bond, and she connected with Bond, and she had a little redemption moment, which I didn't buy in the end. Zorn, to me, Christopher Walken can't do any wrong.
Yeah.
To me. And this is a young Christopher Walken who, he wasn't quite into the caricature of Christopher Walken.
I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell. Thank you, Bruce.
So he was still doing that kind of throaty acting.
Yeah.
He worked for me.
I agree. He is spot on. He was somebody I kind of feel like, again, it was sort of a moment in time where, who would make a good, out of the actors now, who would make a good villain.
Right.
They saw him and they said, oh, we have to put him in there because I still look back at it and I remember, like, I don't quite get why the bleach blonde hair and the glasses look. I remember even back then I kind of went, well, that's a little weird looking, even though that was more 80s than. And like you said, Grace Jones, she was just one of these people who just had such a wild personality that she would make a great, femme fatale / hench person. Yeah. And I think she's terrific. She does hold up over the years, really.
Yeah, and Zoran has some great lines. You amuse me, Mr. Bond.
Right.
Like little things like that are very classic moments. And then again, even the mentor, the crazy scientist, Max! He gets emotional in the end. I'm buying all that. Where things start to go horribly wrong for me again, and I start gripping the couch.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because it's after a really cool gadget moment where Bond uses those glasses to see through the glass.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool and smart. That was kind of neat. But Carrie Sutton, the Bond girl.
Stacey Sutton?
Stacey Sutton.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not even important that I remember it because she's not important enough. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I could say this officially on air, but maybe the worst Bond girl to me in any Bond film. James!
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 Yeah.
How many times? James!
Yeah.
And it's just grating, and she seems like a terrible actress.
Yeah. It's one of those where he would want to change his name after this one because it's you never heard, after how many James Bond films, you never heard James uttered that much. Yeah.
I didn't buy their connection. I didn't get her story.
Yeah.
She has an accent, and then she doesn't have an accent. And then she turns into a Valley Girl, and then she has no Valley Girl accent. It's like, somebody get her a dialect coach.
Yeah, she is difficult to swallow. And it's weird because, again, like I said before about how they, when they did Octopussy, I thought they knew Moore's age and they knew how to play off of that well by having a Bond girl who was paired evenly, and even his action scenes in Octopussy, I kind of feel like It's more, using the opponent's motion against them kind of stuff, as opposed to being here. Yeah, they make all the wrong moves in that respect, and the Bond girl, wow, does that show? Because again, even Roger Moore himself had said in interviews, I knew it was time to go when I realized I was older than my leading lady's mother. So yeah, and again, she's pretty, but that doesn't cut it. In fact, I love the part when he goes to the house and he wakes up. He sleeps over. He sleeps on the sofa or in the chair, and she walks in with breakfast. And when you look, she is totally made up. Yes. The hair is done. The makeup is spotless. So it just kind of. It's like, I get it. She's pretty, but you guys don't know how to do a character.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I feel like they were ticking off the boxes of, James has to be with this pretty girl, as opposed to what they really did well in For Your Eyes Only with BB, where they said, he goes, come with me and I'll buy you an ice cream.
Right. Which a lot of people don't like, and I actually do like a lot, because I like seeing that part of his personality, yeah.
It's a real moment with Roger Moore's James Bond.
Exactly, yeah.
What did you think of the overall plot?
Well, the plot is fine, really. And again, it kind of has that Goldfinger-esque story, where the villain is going to monopolize, the supply of X and raise its value by destroying something. And this one, it does it really effectively well, because the mission was to radiate Fort Knox and destroy the gold. So Bond is really fighting for gold, essentially.
Yeah.
Here, they combine that element with the fact that he's going to kill a lot of people in the process. Kind of a original Superman 1979 story. That's where you get that tension, so that works. In fact, in Octopussy, they do a little bit better because they have the actual audience there.
Right.
So you see the stakes there.
Yeah.
But anyway, it does. I think the actual plot works. And by the way, one of the things they do in Octopussy that they do here again is they mesh. They start out with something that is kind of a lifestyle plot. Not saying that right, but in Octopus you had the Fabergé egg was the stepping off point.
Yes,
which brought you to Sotheby's and a kind of a posh lifestyle atmosphere, which leads you to the big plot, which was the nuclear bomb.
Yes,
here it's kind of similar. They start off with the thing about the horse races, which takes you to elegant horse races and these magnificent stables.
Yep.
Which again takes you to the next plot, which is the attack on Silicon Valley. So all of that, I think, works pretty well. It connects
well, I agree.
If they polished this a little bit better, you could have had a pretty standout Bond story, frankly.
You could have. And I think I came off of this one, right, I sound exhausted, damn it. Oh, the vapors. I got a case of the horribles. I came off of this one, not angry's not the right word, but just sullen, sad.
Yeah.
And because I'm like, no, I'm such a defender of all the James Bond films. I'm a defender of James Bond as a franchise, and I can't defend this one. Like I can't imagine in my wildest dreams somebody going to me, hey, can you recommend a good James Bond film so I can get to know the character? And me going, absolutely, View to a Kill. Go for it. Wait till you see the fire engine scene.
Swing me back!
Yeah.
Your head will explode.
Yeah, and again, they do make a lot of weird choices. Even the scene, the hot tub scene with the Russian
Tchaikovsky. Yeah.
Again, you sort of watch and you go, why is this part of the movie? Why am I watching this? What does this have to do with anything else?
Yeah.
We could not have skipped this altogether.
Yeah, it was at the height of the Roger Moore formulaic. Need to check off all the things, and I'm with you on that.
We need more Bond girls. We need more shags in this film, so we need to bring in this random actress to just do a scene for no reason.
Yeah.
And again, it's frustrating because it is kind of the spy versus spy moment, but just
totally
the way they do it is they focus on the more silly aspects of it as opposed to, and again, Roger he really has outstayed his tenure at this point.
By his own admission.
Yeah.
Right.
Octopussy was the one that really should have been his swan song. Because I think, again, when you think of Roger's career going through the sort of golden age of Roger, Live and Let Die through The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker gets kind of silly and over the top. They pull it back down for Your Eyes Only. And again, he's starting to look his age. He has Bond girls who he says, "I'll buy you an ice cream." Octopussy is the one, again, they did it right, where they sort of showed what you can do with an aging agent.
And even Maud Adams, I know we're talking about Octopussy now, but is it feels appropriate for Roger Moore. And it doesn't feel outlandish. But I you're right. I mean, I want to acquiesce a little bit on A View to a Kill in that good story, great score, some great gadget moments, some good dynamics, great bad guy, great henchman. Mission Bond, which I always like, Loverboy Bond, which I always try to promote. So it's got those aspects. Just for me, there was something so core to its elements that I have to call it that this for me is Roger Moore's worst movie. I'm going to start this one. For me, it was an easy one. I thought I had disliked it. I confirmed it, and I do believe if I line them all up in a row, this would come last for me, Roger Moore-wise.
Yeah, and I can't argue with that. I mean, there's a part of me that would like to sort of, because
is there one
Roger
that's almost equal to being bad for this one?
No,
or is it far and away Roger Moore's worst for you?
Well, I wouldn't say it's far and away, because I kind of feel like not that The Man with the Golden Gun is bad, but that to me is sort of so lukewarm and inoffensive that it's just kind of there.
Yeah, neutral.
I feel like, yeah, right. It just kind of hits this kind of perfectly neutral, lukewarm temperature. Whereas A View to a Kill seems to want to do more stuff and want to get a little more, to give you some bang for your buck. But again, they tell you from the get-go, this is going to be a lighthearted romp, so it is almost the antithesis of what most of us want from a James Bond film.
Absolutely. All right, well, I need to go take a nap. All right, well, that is A View to a Kill. So the theory works under that. So far, we're a bit on a roll. So we are going to now move on to Timothy Dalton and License to Kill.
We sure
you ready
are.
For that?
I am ready.
I hope you're all ready for that. You get a sense of what's coming.
That's it.
Hope everybody's not too bloodied and bruised. This has been David Zaritsky.
And Joe Darlington.
We'll see you real soon.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.